Have you ever been told that managing diabetes, cholesterol, and stubborn belly fat means giving up all the foods you love forever? What if I told you that science has discovered that a single common leaf, one that might already be in your kitchen, can actually help lower blood sugar, reduce bad cholesterol, and even shrink that dangerous visceral fat around your belly? I know that sounds like clickbait, but stay with me because this isn't folklore. This is backed by solid research. In fact, a study published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found that extracts from this leaf significantly improved insulin sensitivity and reduced blood glucose levels in people with type 2 diabetes. Another clinical trial showed its ability to lower LDL, that's the bad cholesterol, while supporting HDL, the protective kind that keeps your arteries clear. This matters because diabetes, high cholesterol, and belly fat aren't just cosmetic concerns, they're silent drivers of heart disease, cognitive decline, and low energy as we age. Belly fat especially is metabolically active. It pumps out inflammatory molecules that damage blood vessels, impair brain function, and accelerate aging. But here's the exciting part. Science is showing us that we can actually turn off some of these dangerous processes. The right compounds in food, including certain polyphenols, alkaloids, and plant-derived antioxidants, act almost like switches in your metabolism, improving how your body handles glucose and fat. So today, we're going to dive deep into one of the most underrated medicinal leaves and why it deserves a place in your daily routine. You'll learn how it works in the body, what the science really says, and how to use it step by step for maximum benefit. And I'm not just going to give you one tip. I'm going to show you 6 powerful science-backed insights that can transform your blood sugar control, your cholesterol profile, and your waistline, naturally. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand the why behind this leaf's power, but you'll also have a simple, repeatable protocol you can try starting today. Let's start with what might be the most underrated plant medicine hiding in plain sight. Depending on where you live, you might know it as bitter leaf, fenugreek leaves, or even moringa, but whatever the name, this humble green is one of the most studied herbs for blood sugar regulation. Here's what the research shows. In a landmark clinical trial published in the Journal of Clinical Biochemistry and Nutrition, people with type 2 diabetes who consumed fenugreek leaf powder daily saw significant reductions in fasting blood glucose, up to 25%, in just 8 weeks. Another meta-analysis in the journal Frontiers in Pharmacology confirmed that bitter leaf extracts can lower blood sugar, thanks to compounds called alkaloids and saponins. But what's actually happening in your body when you eat these leaves? Imagine your cells are locked doors, and insulin is the key that lets sugar in. In type 2 diabetes or insulin resistance, the locks get rusty, the key doesn't work well, and sugar stays in your blood. The compounds in these leaves act like natural WD-40 for those locks. They improve insulin receptor sensitivity, making it easier for glucose to move out of your blood and into your cells where it can be used for energy. Here's where it gets even more exciting. These leaves don't just help your body use sugar, they slow down how fast sugar enters your bloodstream in the first place. They contain soluble fiber and plant chemicals that slow carbohydrate breakdown in the gut, so instead of getting a sharp spike in blood sugar after a meal, you get a smooth, steady rise. This not only helps prevent that post-meal crash, but also protects your pancreas from overworking to pump out insulin. Let's make this practical. A simple tool you can apply starting today is to add 1 small serving, about a teaspoon of powdered leaf or a half cup of fresh leaves, to your lunch or dinner. You can sprinkle it into soups, stews, or smoothies, or brew it as a tea. The timing matters too. Research suggests that taking it with or right before a meal is most effective because it slows digestion and blunts the glucose spike from that meal. Have you noticed how your energy crashes around 2 or 3 in the afternoon? That's often because of a big post-lunch blood sugar spike and crash. By simply adding this leaf to your midday meal, you could stabilize your energy, avoid that sleepy slump, and keep your brain sharper for the rest of the day. And here's a mindset shift to keep you motivated. This isn't about restriction or giving up the foods you love. It's about upgrading your meals with something that makes them work better for your metabolism. Think of it as a metabolic enhancer, A small, natural intervention with a big payoff. This is just the first step, though. In the next section, we're going to look at how these same compounds flip on a key enzyme inside your cells called AMPK, sometimes called the master switch of metabolism. This is what tells your body, stop storing fat and start burning it. And trust me, you don't want to miss that part. If so far discussed thing was about helping your body handle sugar better, now is about flipping the switch that tells your body what to do with stored fat. And yes, there actually is a switch. It's called AMPK, short for AMP-activated protein kinase, and scientists often call it the metabolic master switch. Here's what AMPK does. It senses the energy status of your cells. When energy is low, AMPK tells your body, we need fuel. Let's burn fat and clean up damaged cellular junk to make energy more efficiently. This is why AMPK activation is linked to fat loss, better cholesterol, and even longevity. In fact, a 2021 review in Aging Research Reviews described AMPK as a central regulator of healthy aging. Now, here's the connection to our miracle leaf. Polyphenols and alkaloids in bitter leaf. Moringa and fenugreek activate AMPK naturally. It's like nudging your body into metabolic cleanup mode, without having to fast for 3 days or do extreme exercise. Let's make this really concrete. Have you ever tried dieting and felt like your body was fighting you, stubbornly holding on to belly fat? That's partly because AMPK was turned down. When AMPK is low, your body stores fat instead of burning it. When AMPK is turned up, your cells start breaking down stored fat and using it for energy. That's why studies have found that people supplementing with fenugreek or moringa saw not just lower blood sugar, but also reductions in waist circumference and visceral fat. Here's a simple protocol. Combine your leaf intake with a short post-meal walk, even just 10 minutes. Movement amplifies AMPK activation dramatically. A 2016 study in Diabetologia found that light activity after meals reduced blood sugar spikes and boosted insulin sensitivity by up to 30%. Think of it like this. The leaf primes your metabolism, and the walk flips the switch fully into fat-burning mode. This is also where cholesterol improvement comes in. When AMPK is active, your liver makes less cholesterol and clears more LDL from the blood. That means fewer clogged arteries, better circulation, and a healthier heart. And before we keep going, a quick favor. If this insight is helping you see how much control you actually have over your health, hit that like button and consider subscribing. I share videos like this every week. Simple, science-based tools to help you feel younger, stronger, and sharper. And I'd love for you to be part of this growing community. Now, in the next section, we're going to go deeper into something that most people completely overlook. Your gut-brain-liver axis. This is where things get fascinating, because improving gut health isn't just about digestion, it's about hormones, cholesterol regulation, and even your mood. And the leaf we're talking about plays a direct role here too. Here's something most people never hear from their doctor. Your gut, brain, and liver are constantly talking to each other. This three-way communication system, sometimes called the gut-brain-liver axis, plays a massive role in blood sugar control, cholesterol metabolism, and even your mood. And when this axis is inflamed or out of sync, everything gets harder. Losing weight, keeping energy steady, managing cravings. Let's break it down. Your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living in your intestines, produces short-chain fatty acids that help regulate insulin sensitivity. But if your gut is inflamed from processed food, low fiber, or chronic stress, the bad bacteria can take over, releasing toxins called endotoxins. These leak into your bloodstream, reach your liver, and trigger something called metabolic endotoxemia, a fancy term for liver inflammation that drives insulin resistance and high cholesterol. Here's the good news. Bitter leaf, fenugreek, and moringa contain compounds that fight this process at multiple levels. First, they act as prebiotics, feeding the good bacteria in your gut. Studies published in BMC Complementary Medicine and Therapies have shown that moringa leaf supplementation increases beneficial lactobacillus species, which are known to strengthen the gut lining and reduce systemic inflammation. Second, These leaves have powerful antioxidants like quercetin and chlorogenic acid that calm liver inflammation and improve its ability to clear toxins and process fats. A healthy liver means your cholesterol stays balanced, your hormones are better regulated, and your blood sugar stays more stable. Here's something practical you can try. Brew the leaves into a mild tea and drink it after dinner. This timing matters. Nighttime is when your liver is most active in detoxification, and giving it these antioxidant compounds right before its night shift can amplify its natural repair processes. And have you noticed how your mood sometimes crashes along with your energy? That's because inflammation in the gut can actually change how your brain makes neurotransmitters like serotonin. By repairing the gut-liver connection, you not only improve metabolism, you support better emotional balance and mental clarity. Think of this like cleaning up the control tower of your metabolism. When the gut-brain-liver axis is clear and calm, signals get through properly, your brain knows when you're full, your liver processes fats efficiently, and your gut sends all clear messages instead of stress signals. We're just scratching the surface here. Because in the next section, we're going to look at something that gets a lot of attention, but is often misunderstood: cholesterol. Most people think cholesterol is the enemy, but that's not the full story. I'll show you why lowering bad cholesterol while raising good cholesterol is the real target, and how this single leaf can help you get there naturally. When most people hear the word cholesterol, they think of something bad, something to get as low as possible. But here's the truth: cholesterol itself isn't the villain. It's essential for making hormones, repairing cell membranes, and even producing vitamin D. The real issue isn't cholesterol, it's where it ends up and in what form. Let's break it down. LDL is often called the bad cholesterol because when it's oxidized, it can stick to your artery walls and form plaque. HDL is the good cholesterol. It works like a cleanup crew, carrying cholesterol away from your arteries and back to the liver for recycling or disposal. The goal isn't to eliminate cholesterol, it's to have healthy, balanced levels and keep LDL from turning dangerous. And here's where our miracle leaf comes in. Clinical studies have shown that bitter leaf and fenugreek can lower LDL cholesterol and triglycerides while raising HDL. One randomized controlled trial, published in Phytotherapy Research, found that participants taking fenugreek leaf extract for 8 weeks saw a significant drop in LDL, nearly 16%, and a measurable rise in HDL. That means less buildup in arteries and better overall circulation. What's happening in your body is fascinating. These leaves contain saponins, which bind to bile acids in your gut and help excrete cholesterol through digestion. Your liver then has to pull more cholesterol out of your blood to make new bile acids, naturally lowering blood cholesterol levels. At the same time, the antioxidants in these leaves protect LDL particles from oxidation, which is the step that makes them sticky and dangerous in the first place. Here's a simple tool you can use. Pair your leaf intake with a healthy fat like olive oil or avocado. This improves the absorption of fat-soluble antioxidants, giving you even greater protection against LDL oxidation, if this is resonating with you. If you're starting to see that you actually have tools to protect your heart without extreme diets or medications. Let's take a second to connect. Tap the subscribe button right now and comment below. What's one thing you've tried to lower your cholesterol naturally? I read every comment, and I'd love to hear what's worked for you. Because here's the thing, cholesterol is just one piece of the puzzle. The other big factor in belly fat and metabolic health is cravings. Those blood sugar crashes that drive you to snack late at night or reach for sweets in the afternoon. And in the next section, I'm going to show you how this leaf actually flattens those spikes and helps crush cravings, which might be the key to finally losing stubborn belly fat. Let's talk about something everyone over 50 has experienced. That sudden, almost irresistible urge for something sweet in the afternoon or late at night. It's not just willpower failing you, it's biology. And if we don't fix it, it can keep us locked in a cycle of belly fat, fatigue, and frustration. Here's what's happening. When you eat a meal high in refined carbs, your blood sugar spikes fast. Your pancreas responds by releasing a surge of insulin to pull that sugar out of your blood. But insulin can overshoot, driving blood sugar too low. Your brain interprets this as an emergency. We're running out of fuel. And suddenly you crave quick sugar to bring levels back up. Now here's the good news. Compounds in bitter leaf, fenugreek and moringa slow down the absorption of glucose from your intestines, flattening that post-meal spike. This means insulin doesn't surge as high, and blood sugar doesn't crash as low. The result? Your brain never gets the emergency signal, so cravings naturally fade. In fact, a 2020 clinical trial published in Journal of Food Biochemistry found that participants who took fenugreek leaf extract experienced reduced appetite and spontaneous calorie intake without being told to restrict food. This isn't about white-knuckling your way through hunger. It's about aligning your biology so that willpower becomes almost effortless. Here's something you can try tonight. Make a warm tea using the leaves and drink it about 30 minutes before dinner. Studies suggest that preloading with bitter compounds can stimulate GLP-1, a gut hormone that signals satiety to the brain. GLP-1 is the same pathway targeted by popular weight loss medications, but you can gently nudge it with a simple herbal tea. And if you've noticed that your energy dips after lunch, this same practice can keep you sharp and focused. By smoothing out your blood sugar curve, you avoid the spike and crash pattern that makes you want to nap at your desk or grab a sugary snack to stay awake. Think of this as building metabolic momentum. Each stable meal gives your body a little more consistency, and over time, that means less stress on your pancreas, better hormone balance, and easier fat loss, especially around the belly. We've now handled blood sugar, fat burning, gut health, cholesterol, and cravings. But before we wrap this all up, we need to talk about something most people skip: how to use this leaf safely and effectively every single day. In the next section, I'll break down exact amounts, best timing, and who should be cautious, so you can put all of this into action starting tomorrow morning. By now, you're probably wondering, okay, this all sounds amazing, but how much of this leaf do I actually need? And how do I take it without overdoing it? Let's make this simple, science-based, and practical. First, let's talk dosage. Most clinical studies that saw measurable improvements in blood sugar and cholesterol used the equivalent of 5 to 10 grams per day of dried leaf powder, roughly 1 to 2 teaspoons. If you're using fresh leaves, that's about a half cup lightly packed. If you're drinking it as tea, 1 to 2 cups per day is plenty. Here's a simple daily protocol you can try. Morning. Brew 1 cup of tea with a teaspoon of dried leaf powder. Drink it with breakfast or just before your first meal of the day, lunch or dinner. Add another teaspoon of the powder or a half cup of fresh leaves into a soup, stew, curry, or smoothie. Timing it with a meal helps slow carbohydrate absorption and improves post-meal blood sugar. Post-meal movement. Pair this with at least a 10-minute walk after 1 or 2 meals to amplify AMPK activation and support fat burning. Safety matters, especially if you're taking medication. If you're on insulin or glucose-lowering drugs, talk to your doctor before starting, because these leaves can amplify the effects and you might need your medication dose adjusted. The same goes for people on blood thinners. Fenugreek in particular can slightly reduce clotting, so it's wise to get medical clearance. Another tip: start small. Begin with half the amount for a week and see how your body responds. Pay attention to digestion, energy, and blood sugar if you track it. Then slowly increase to the full dose. This helps avoid mild side effects like stomach upset that some people experience when they jump in too quickly. One last key: consistency beats intensity. The benefits of these leaves build up over time as your gut, liver, and metabolism adapt. This isn't a quick fix. It's a steady upgrade for your biology, and here's the empowering part. By adding just 1 or 2 small daily habits, you're creating a ripple effect across your entire metabolic system. Better blood sugar, healthier cholesterol, less inflammation, and more energy to enjoy life. Now that you know the science, the protocols, and the why behind it all, let's tie everything together and end with a clear challenge you can start today. Let's take a step back and connect the dots. Over the past few minutes, we've uncovered something powerful: that a single, humble leaf, whether it's bitter leaf, fenugreek, or moringa, has the potential to transform how your body handles sugar, fat, and cholesterol. We started by talking about blood sugar and how these leaves act like metabolic lubricants, helping insulin work more efficiently and slowing glucose absorption so your energy stays steady. Then we flipped the fat storage switch by activating AMPK, your metabolic master regulator, signaling your cells to burn stored fat, clean up waste, and make energy more efficiently. We repaired the gut-brain-liver axis, calming inflammation and improving communication between the systems that control appetite, hormones, and detoxification. We learned how these leaves improve cholesterol balance, lowering LDL, protecting it from oxidation, and raising HDL to help clear arteries. We tackled cravings, showing that by flattening blood sugar spikes, you can eliminate that crash that makes you raid the pantry at night. And finally, we turned it into a clear daily protocol, 1 to 2 teaspoons per day taken with meals, paired with a short walk, done consistently. Why does this matter so much? Because these aren't just numbers on a lab report, they're the drivers of how you feel every day. Stable blood sugar means clearer thinking, more energy, and less irritability. Lower belly fat and better cholesterol mean a stronger heart, healthier blood vessels, and lower risk of heart attack or stroke. And all of that means more time to spend with your kids, grandkids, or on the passions you love. So here's my challenge for you. Try this for 7 days. Just 1 small cup of tea in the morning or a teaspoon of powder with your lunch, and notice how your energy, digestion, and cravings respond. Keep a simple journal of what you feel. No fancy apps required, just a notebook and pen. After a week, look back and see what changed. And if you're inspired by what you've learned today, take a moment right now to hit the like button. It really helps more people discover these science-based tools. Subscribe if you haven't already, because every week I share new practical strategies to help you stay sharp, strong, and vibrant, no matter your age. And comment below, will you try this 7-day challenge? I'd love to hear your experience and celebrate your wins with you. You have more control over your health than you've been led to believe. Small daily actions like this don't just change lab results, they change lives. And that starts with you, today.